Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire is less a horror comedy and more a reasonably successful pastiche of things that have worked before, and not necessarily in this series alone. The icy eldritch god who serves as the main villain is a rehash of every CGI monster from the last 20 years. Like Slimer shoving snacks in his ravenous maw, Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire tries to cram way too many characters, storylines, and iconic images into its 2-hour runtime. Director Gil Keenan's film does a vaguely better job of balancing the old and the new than its predecessor, Ghostbusters: Afterlife. It finesses the fan service in a way that the 2021 reboot legacy-quel, whatever you want to call it, did not, offering familiar images and bits of dialogue in breezier fashion while also moving these characters and this story in a slightly different direction. Kanan, Monster House, A Boy Called Christmas, takes over directing duties from Jason Reitman, son of the late legendary Ivan Reitman, director of the original 1984 Ghostbusters, and to whom this film is dedicated. Kanan and Reitman once again co-wrote the script. There are more laughs to be had here, mostly thanks to Paul Rudd and Patton Oswalt showing up and being their reliably likable selves. But this new series of Ghostbusters movies continues to stray far from the scrappy, anarchic vibe of the series' origins, instead offering weightier emotional stakes and a misplaced reverence for franchise lore. The remaining stars of the 1984 mega-hit return in hopes of reminding us of what we loved about that movie as kids. Bill Murray saunters in and makes a few blasé quips as Venkman. Dan Aykroyd spews rapid-fire scientific jargon as Stantz. Ernie Hudson is the voice of reason as Zeddemore, who has established his own high-tech paranormal investigation lab, and it's a pleasure to see Annie Potts come back as the sweetly sarcastic Janine. Those beloved figures from 40 years ago must share the screen with the descendants of Spengler, Carrie Coon's Callie, her science-whiz daughter, Phoebe McKenna Grace, and her perpetually annoyed son, Trevor, Finn Wolfhard, who barely gets anything to do. Thankfully, Frozen Empire refrains from trotting out hologram Harold Ramis again in the name of shameless tear-jerking. Rudd, whom we previously saw as Oklahoma science teacher Gary Gruberson, has now joined the Spengler family in New York City as fellow Ghostbuster stepfather. Figure, they've taken over the historic firehouse and are now zooming around in the old Ecto-1, chasing spectral creatures with the new high-tech gear Phoebe has crafted. The opening chase scene is admittedly a lot of fun, offering genuine thrills as well as sufficiently snappy banter. But the rest of the movie never matches that level of energy or enjoyment.